Hello, folks. I'm rather than leaving the stream running for several hours, I thought maybe when we get close to an area where I'd like to take a trade, then I will turn on this stream. So that's what I'm doing. We just took a 4 hour high right here, but we only took it by a tick or two, and that may be all at once. But ES failed to take its 4 hour high, and this price right here has been a magnet all week long. If we look at the 15-minute chart, you can see many times the price has gone down to this 6,700 level. It likes to hang out there. And I think this level will fall. Let me just double check I got my line in the right place because there's another little 15-minute wick there. Um, let's do regular trading hours only. Okay. So yeah, it is in the right spot. There is another 15-minute wick just slightly above this. But these candle bodies here also, we know we wicked into those. So that could be all we want. We may not want to go any higher. If we look at the entire weekly range, so this would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is the entire range. It's unlikely on a Friday that we extend that weekly range, but the price action has been so volatile this week, I wouldn't be surprised about anything happening. I'm hoping to see some clean movement. I'd like to see this get taken. This one already got taken, but it left that little wick right there on a 15-minute chart. There is quite a bit of movement. We are pulling back 100 points here, which has been real typical this week. Seeing 100-point pullbacks, seeing 50-point 1-minute candles. That's been real common. And I am actually a conspiracy theorist when it comes to that. If you were trading in March and you saw when the Trump news started coming out about the tariffs, this same kind of price action was going on where we were seeing sometimes 200-point 1-minute candles. Then we haven't seen anything quite that extreme, but we have seen 100-point 1-minute candles. And I think the price is delivered by an algorithm. And they tune it. Right now, we're in the absence of any government news releases. So they tune this thing to Trump tweets. And the price movement is sped up tremendously. Let's see what kind of candle size we're getting right now. If you're running a 25-point stop loss, which is what I did earlier in the week, that's a 41, not quite, 38-point candle. So if you're running a 25-point stop loss and you don't get a perfect entry, you're done. Trade's over. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I had a difficult time adjusting to this rapid price movement, and I lost all 3 days. Yesterday, I had a decent day. I expanded my stop to 50 points, and I just traded one micro and ended up making $700 on one micro, which is insane. I can't believe I even did it. But on this 15-minute chart, you can see we got, well, this is a 1-minute chart. We got a little bit higher. This is the 4-hour regular trading hour high, but that looks like it's the draw to me. And we could go all the way to 25,000 because that's also a draw. 25,000 has been, and then also if you look over here on the 15-minute chart here on ES, we have that there. 6,700 was right at settlement. 6,702 was settlement one day. And we have quite a bit of movement back up to it. You can see on that 15-minute chart a lot better. We lacked it this week. So, and it's also 50% pullback of the entire week. That's dead middle of the range. So what I would like to see is this high get taken. put up a beautiful reversal pattern, and then we come back down to settlement or at least half of the day's range. This was the pre-market high, pre-market low. We haven't offered to the pre-market low at all. Overnight trading, we dipped into these. ES took these relative equal lows. NQ only took one of them. So that could be, we may hit here and come all the way back down to here. That's not surprising. Would not be surprising to me at all on a week like we've had. The price action has just been crazy. So I'm not sure. I did take one trade on, I was expecting this double tap. So when we got back down to round number here, I took a little trade here and just killed it right away. And then when we got down here, I took another trade, killed it right away. I think I made about 20 bucks on each trade, but just trading one micro there. We'll see if we can get back up into this area and then validate a breaker to the downside. I would take that trade. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. And I find if I watch it on a 1 minute chart, I see a lot of trades. I want to jump in a lot more. But if I watch it on a 15-minute chart, we do regular trading hours only. We did not have a gap, really. This is where we closed yesterday. This is where we opened today. So there's a tiny little gap, but it's already filled. On ES, about the same story. We closed here, and we opened here. Oh, opened there. So just a tiny, right at settlement. And just looking at the 15-minute chart, you know, maybe we don't take that. Maybe that's all we wanted, but it just seems like these, and maybe even those relative equal highs would be a target since we've been going up since the open. But I may be incorrect on that. And if I am, I don't really feel comfortable taking a trade without a nice reversal pattern present. So I don't know for sure that I'll take one. And we may have to endure an hour of consolidation here, which has kind of been the theme for the week. Consolidates for an hour and then runs somewhere, 200 points somewhere real fast. It's hard to get in. Dead middle of the weekly range corresponds well with this 4-hour high. Let's see what the weekly range is over here. We'll go to a daily candle. No, here. Yeah. Daily. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We already poked down below it on ES, but so you could actually extend that daily range, that weekly range. You don't want to go past, you don't want to include Friday. So we already poked through the bottom of the weekly range. Now we're back to the middle of it. So that really is the middle. I don't know. We may not poke that high. Right now it's looking like we could trade lower. Let's see what ES, or NQ rather, is looking like on its daily and how it's interacting with the week. Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, yeah, it's our blue line is the high. And this one here is the low. And we poked the low, left this 4-hour regular trading hour low alone. And it is also trading just slightly above the 50%. Now, if we're bearish, and I believe we are, and I'm a billionaire, I want to buy above the halfway point, or I want to sell. I want to sell. I want to find willing buyers up in this area. the upper quadrant of the weekly range for a pushback down to settlement or even lower. But expecting it to come out of this range either direction with any type of serious move is probably going to be wishful thinking. So you could put a quadrant on that wick or just use the weekly range. That would be 75% pullback. That would be a real good spot to sell short if you're a billionaire. This wouldn't be a bad spot because we're above the 50%. But if we take, say, 25,000, then you'd be in trouble. Because we're a long way off from 25,000 right now. So I don't know. May not get a trade today, but that's kind of my hypo. Take this high, try to ride it back down to settlement. Let's do a 30-minute. And let's see what our opening range looks like. All right, that's our opening range right here. High of the opening range, low of the opening range. And this pre-market low, we can label that. Pre-market high has already been taken, so no sense in that. Pre-low. That's the low of the New York session as it stands. I'm going to capitalize it so we can see it better. It looks like we're going to pull back substantially here. This opening range high. And this is opening range low. Let's just type that in there too. The opening range is the first 30 minutes of trading. And that's ICT's opening range, what he calls the opening range, and that guy knows his stuff. So I just follow whatever he says. Man, we really pulled back a lot. Back to the opening range high there. Let's see, is this it? 945, 930. Okay, so pre-market high is out of play. That's opening range high. And opening range low. It's right here. Pre-market low right there. So if you just look from the open, we've just come back to the middle of the range on that. I don't know. May not get a trade today. I like that this took that 4-hour high. What I don't like about it is the reversal pattern. This is the breaker right here. And we're just now getting down to it to validate it. Now, could you have gone off of a smaller time frame breaker? Yeah. 15-second breaker, this probably touched it to the tick. But, yeah, it did. In this environment, I'm being very, very picky. See, right here is our breaker on the 15-second chart to the downside. And you can see all of these wicked into it, never went above it. So that would have been a good entry somewhere around here. I just don't like using the 15-second chart in a market that's as volatile as what we're seeing now. So from a 1 minute perspective, we're just now getting back down to the breaker right here. But that is a lot of movement already. It's 100 points. From the high, we're looking at 150 points. Would have been a real nice trade. $300 on one micro. Settlements here. Well, looks like see on that 15-second chart, you can't even tell. There's no wick, there's nothing. No order block. And so we took that liquidity, left this, stopped it. Round number, pop back up 20 points, 40 points rather. Okay, so our 1 minute breaker is right here. And it seems like we are way down into the run. I don't know that I'm comfortable taking it, but you got a fair value gap beneath the breaker. That's the signal. Don't have one yet, but one is forming. But it looks like it's going to take that low in the process of forming. And we're right at round number. Let's see what ES is doing in comparison, because it's been giving cleaner signals. So same, its breaker is here. That's its 1 minute breaker right there. No fair value gap beneath the breaker. I would like to see it leave that low, go back up, and then come take it. That's a trade I'll take. Otherwise, I'm not going to take a trade today. And it looks like we're going to have to wait a while. Man, that would have been a nice one. Yeah. So we swept this liquidity. You could say that's an upside breaker, but we haven't taken a major time frame. So this is still my only entry. We need to take this, preferably on both indexes. If we go back up to this breaker and reject, I would accept that as an entry because we have taken this one, even though it was just by a tick or two. I want to see that one go by a little bit more. But that's kind of been the theme of the week. Going down and leaving a low just a few ticks away, or, kind of been the theme. And that looked like a exhaustion wick. That's 78-point rip to the upside. Think back to last week before all this algorithm started delivering price. How long did it take us to move 78 points? It might take an afternoon, and we're doing it in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Very, very volatile. So you really need a perfect entry. You need everything to align right. This to me looks like we are going to offer lower, but because we didn't take that, I'm not trusting it. I'm probably not going to take a trade today. I did good yesterday, and I want to go into the weekend with that memory. I don't want to get in here and get smoked. But if you were of a mind to, we invalidated that breaker just now, so to me, it could go either direction. As far as the opening range go and the range of the day, we're dead center. Not that far from settlement. We could go back and touch it. I started the stream thinking we were just about to take this high, but looks like we're going to be in for a long haul. Kind of wish I would have had that marked out. But on both indexes, that's pretty smooth. Let's see. ES. If I marked a 15-second breaker on ES, it would be right here. And that one, now we're looking at what, 30-second breaker. If you have to go in there and hunt around for trades, I don't like that environment. You could say right now, this is our lowest point. Here's our breaker that we're validating to the upside. But we haven't taken a higher time frame on this push down. We left a low right here. So I don't trust it either. I'm just being very, very, very particular about my rules. This is our breaker. We have not validated it. And this is our breaker. We have not validated it. So now we wait. Coming up on the 10:50 macro, New York time, of course. If we're going to take this, it would be during this next 20-minute time block. 4 minutes in. Getting down below that 1 minute breaker one more time. Just dipping, not wanting to commit. I would take a trade here if this validates, just because I want it to take that high, but it doesn't have to. And I'm going to trade what I see, not what I think. Pushing a little lower, but we're at round number. See if we can get a fair value gap beneath the breaker to hold. And I would want it to hold without taking this liquidity. See, it's not going to give me an entry there. And it did take that liquidity, but not this one. ES has very similar price action. Just took its liquidity there, but did not provide us an opportunity to enter. Got that mismarked. So I would be willing to take that stayed open, a trade right here at 96 to the downside. And I would just do, I think I'll do 2 micros if we get filled. And it would be a tick below the high of this candle right here. There is another fair value gap here, so this could possibly be an entry, but I like this one better. I would think settlement would be considered a draw. But we have had a 15-minute candle close back in the opening range, and that typically would indicate that we will go all the way through the opening range. Round number, highly likely that we revisit it. So I'm liking that entry right there. I am tempted to just go to 1 micro, however, because 25 points just hasn't been enough. I think I'll put 1, and then if it starts going my way, maybe 1 more. From there, opening range low. How many points are we talking about there? Yeah. That'd be $250 on 1 micro. That's not bad. All right, we got filled. We'll respect it. I want to see an immediate pullback and push toward that low here. If we start offering higher here, then pull back to 80 and then go to 20, something like that, I really wouldn't be interested in that. And here I would want to see this wick. And I'm not even going to put a fib on it, but I would want to see that wick respected the halfway point by candle bodies for continued downside. The wicks can do the damage, but we want the candle body to stay below here. Back to the breaker. Yeah, this doesn't look too good. I'm going to take it off. So we validated a breaker. We went to settlement. Didn't really take any significant levels. And then straight back up. That's been really, really typical of this week. Usually when you see a breaker validated, it's going to take something significant. Now, we can encase our breaker with a box. There might be a possible entry again. Just because it didn't touch it to the tick doesn't mean that it doesn't respect it. So we want candle bodies respecting the halfway point of the breaker. So we got it wrapped in a box. There's a halfway point. We took that liquidity. If we respect that and then start pulling away again, then I will enter again for another short, trying to get to the bottom of the opening range. And now I'm watching this wick for candle bodies to stay below the halfway point of it, as well as the breaker. But we also have a bearish order block, a bullish order block, no fair value gap, a small fair value gap here. This is, well, still 10:05. Candle body's got just above the halfway point of that breaker, indicating more upsides. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Breaker validated, didn't really give us an entry until here, and then settlement was all it wanted. So now we're just playing the waiting game again. Pushing all the way through the opening range is still a possibility. We could employ that 15-second breaker if we bounce off of it and start heading back down. Try again for settlement. I am not interested in taking a long trying to get to here because that's low probability. This little section right here, that's the movement of the day on a 15-minute chart. No significant levels taken on ES. One taken by a point or two on NQ. No clean signal for reversal unless you really shrink your time frame down. The high of that, 960.75. We took it by 5 points, looks like. If my number's right there, yeah. Took it by 5 points, but left that high. That's not unusual for this week at all. So now, let's see what we're doing with our candle bodies. We went above, and now we pulled back. Not fleeing. I may not get a trade today, guys. That one I just took got $50 smoke on. Might be my only trade. we can't go take that blue line again, or at least get back up here into this consolidation and reject again, I mean, this is all just garbage at this point. To me, it's insignificant. Even if we revalidate the breaker, and possibly you aim down back to settlement, but it's already been invalidated a couple of times. So, to me, this is just a choppy range that is going to steal money from you. Let's look at a 5-minute chart and see, we're just chopping. So I'm going to get rid of that breaker, make it insignificant. I am going to mark that 15-second breaker up there just because the price did seem to react to it right here. And we'll see how it reacts to it when it gets back up here, if it gets back up here. Because it did respect it very nicely. And I'll also mark it over here. And if we were to go up to it and reject again, that's a possibility for a short. This one actually went off of this breaker right there. But that's not the last up close. Maybe on a 30-second. Let's see. Yeah, on a 30-second, it worked out just great. But that's, once again, we're looking for validation of a system that runs off of a 1-minute candle. So proceed with caution. But clearly price wanted to respect it on ES here and on the 15-second over here. I wonder what if the 30-second would be a touch to the tick there. Let's try it. It's not a touch to the tick, but that 30-second breaker is respected. So, yeah, we'll get rid of this one. We're just in the chop zone. I don't know. Do I want to leave this thing running for the remainder of the day, or do I want to go ahead and end the stream and just say we're not taking a trade today? Because this breaker to me is just not one that's being. Do we go down here? Probably, most likely. But the signal is just so freaking dirty that the only place I would be willing to get involved in anything like that would be up in here again. So missed that opportunity here, and I don't see any other opportunities here. Possibly a push down. Maybe we take out, this is NY pre-market low. Maybe we take something like that out and then come back to settlement possibly. Don't know. We have a 4-hour low right here, just below the opening range low that could be a target. I don't know, guys. Looking at that 5-minute chart, it says you missed this one and stay away from everything else. Everything else seems like a gamble. I think I'm done. If it comes down here and takes this out and wants to go back to settlement or any of this, and I feel like I already missed the trade for the day. So, and I am not at all interested in getting involved in this. If we come back up here, I'll try to get to settlement. If we come down here, I'll try to get back to settlement. And that's it. That's the only two trades I'd be willing to take. So I'm not going to sit here and watch these candles bounce for the next three and a half, 4 hours. So I'm just going to put an alert in my phone. If we take this low, come watch. If we take that high, come watch. And just leave it at that. And the levels over here on NQs, 950, 956 again, and 645. Those are the only two I'd be willing to get involved with, and I'm not going to stay on the stream waiting for it to get there. So, hope y'all have a good weekend. Hope y'all made some money this week. Talk to y'all next time.